Call this June 22nd Brown County Commission meeting to order. Commissioner Kipley, lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning. First item, approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Moved by Sutton, second by Piker to approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item, we have the second reading and possible adoption of the rezone ordinances and medical marijuana emergency ordinance.
First ordinance 196, filed by T&J Investments, to change the zoning, the following described property from chapter 4.06 agricultural preservation district to chapter 4.07 mini ag district, lot 1 T&J Investments, second edition in the northeast quarter of section 30, township 124 north, range 63 west of the 5th PM, Brown County, South Dakota, 12845 through 89th Avenue.
I'll move it.
I need a second. Second. Moved by Sutton, second by Piker to approve the second reading ordinance 196 and possible adoption. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Abstains on that? The relative. I'll abstain on that one.
What?
She's abstaining on that ordinance, she is a relative.
Okay. Okay. Ordinance 197 filed by Team Reed to change the zoning of the following described property from chapter 4.06 agriculture preservation district to chapter 4.07 mini ag district. Reads out lots 1 and 2 in the southwest quarter of section 30, township 124 north, range 62 west of the 5th PM, Brown County, South Dakota, 39408 129th Street and 12894 394th Avenue.
I would move that one.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Sutton to approve the second reading and possible adoption of ordinance 197. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, ordinance 198, a temporary ordinance regarding the issuance of local medical cannabis establishment permits and or licenses.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Piker, second by Sutton to approve the temporary medical marijuana emergency ordinance 198. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item. Look at here, Dirk. You're going to be right on time. We have Dirk Rogers, Highway Superintendent, NBC right-of-way and department updates. Where is he? Oh, right behind you.
Okay. I got 8 right-of-ways. This is all from Northern Valley, and it's all just a continuation of that same project we've been talking about all summer. But he brought in 8 of them, and it covers a big chunk of property. So I made a fancy map here, so I can just show you the map, okay? But if you want to do it with one motion, if that's okay, there are 8. He put them in here in 8. They could just as well have been on 1 because it's the same thing, but the list of sections and townships and stuff would have been massive, okay? So I'm just going to show you a map of where they're working. Everything's cool. Here's the 8 documents. But I'll show you the map before you guys, if you don't approve it, I'll take the documents back. All right, so most of it's all up in the northwest part of the county. So, like one of them is basically, what is that, Road 5, from McPherson County to Road 16, okay?
Long stretch.
Yeah, it's just straight across, and then there's little, you know, at different spots where they gotta go to the houses, there are little stubs that go to each place. Everybody, can you guys, without pulling out the whole
Yep.
map, you guys all know where we are?
Yep.
I'm sure you got a complaint about the roads up here, Commissioner Piker, but we'll wait on that. Number 2 is just a little short one. I don't know why they did it that way, but that's just that little piece there, right? That's on the corner north of, you know, the dams down here. And this is up here. Number 3 is the rest of this on Road 3. And if you see the map, there's continuity here, you know what I mean? It closes on itself, but they're not installing anything anywhere where you don't need it, right? So the third one's that. Fourth one is this piece on 14. Fifth one's over here on Road 6. Basically just going into the different residences. 6 is 10, Road 10. Even doing a little piece on Main Street in Frederick. And then the 7th one would be this piece on, what is that, 7 or 9? That's 9. And then of course Road 7, the old highway we were gifted many years ago, but Road 7 that runs kind of in between the State 10 and just all the way on that. So that's all where they're going to be working. It's just updating their existing copper line and putting in fiber. And I just did it this
A
way.
lot of that they don't have line already, that's new fiber going in.
No, all of it is replacing
Oh, it is?
existing. Yeah, it's more of an updating the system than expanding the system.
Okay.
There are a few spots where they're expanding the system. Incidentally, where I live in Groton, my internet has been sketchy for a long time, and I live a block from their office, so that's always been But when they started this project, they called me as a homeowner because I'm on the end of the line, and I'm one of the oldest, first, never been improved stretches in Groton. So, you know, there are some things like that where it's getting like a 20-year update from the original installation in some parts of it.
Slum area?
Yeah, I live in the ghetto over there, so, down by the tracks.
I'll move the project. I'll second it.
I'm
We
gonna
have a
leave it.
motion by Sutton, a second by Piker to approve the NVC update on fiber on 8 different locations as one motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The rest of what I had was just a little update. We're pretty much doing the same stuff as last week because it's a long ways to Claremont, unfortunately, from Aberdeen when you're paving. But we got turned around. We're headed back north, so I'm hoping we'll be out of there probably Monday of next week, Tuesday next week, and then we're going to move down to Road 11 between 281 and Columbia. Going to pave it solid over to the Hall Pit because that's never been paved solid. And then east of there we did a couple miles. And then there's a couple spots between 14 and going over to Columbia on 11 where there's some patches, and we'll do a couple little maintenance overlays in there. And then from there we're going to hop down to 23, basically at 37 there at Fernie, and do some down on 23. We just milled up Road 9. We'll figure out what it's been half milled for 5 years, so we did the rest of it up, and we'll figure out what we're going to do in there. Trying to pick 9
north
from Daly,
of Columbia.
yeah, Daly Corner over to 16. I'm hoping, and as our faithful auditor has reminded me, I haven't turned the budget in yet, so I want to see if I can squeeze a project in there with that Road 9, and we have a little bit on 18 and 9 going over to Columbia. There's a bunch of stuff in there that half milled, and now we pretty much milled all of it. A couple of pieces of it we started getting ready to blotter, and then things flooded, and I got all kinds of excuses, but it would be nice to be able to put together about a 5 or 6 or 8 mile project in there and just get all that stuff paved up and be done with it. But so they're milling that 9, and we're still got a couple guys blading. Erica and I were able to do some interviews last week, and we did get 2 pretty good candidates. Got to be honest, I was kind of surprised because what's bringing both of them is more of our benefit package. You know, I'm not complaining, but you don't come to the county to become a millionaire, right? And these are 2 examples of where our ability to maintain our benefit package is actually it's making up for the monetary compensation. But when you look at the whole package, so I'm pretty happy. Hopefully we can keep them for a while and go from there. So we still have mechanics, opening posted right now, and we're just seeing what we get from that, so I don't know if we've gotten anything yet. Go from there. That's about it. You guys got questions about anything? I did have a couple nice comments about the meeting at Richmond. A couple folks are interested in the extent of whatever cooperative projects you guys were willing to entertain with them. But actually, I was answering the phone while we were doing the job interviews, so I didn't go too in-depth with the folks that had called me, but there might be some things there to follow up on in the future. So, and we are doing traffic counts out there and getting some summer traffic counts lined up, and so, good.
You got a big thank you from Jay Wettenkamp, and there's about 15 houses in the mile between where Old 10, north of the fairgrounds, heads to Richmond, the mile
Yep.
going straight north to where it's graveled, because you guys patched those potholes. So they called and said, give the highway department a big thank you from them.
There will be something on that road, more substantial, from the 2 miles starting at Prairie Wood and going 1 or 1.5 or 1 3/4, wherever the gravel starts up there. Hopefully in the next year or so to do something a little better. Because like you say, that is an area that has quite a few cars there.
And I don't know if did you get the text from Peggy Solway too? Thanking,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yep. So.
When you were going through your right-of-ways, I did have a question posed to me, and I didn't know the answer. At zoning last week, when you have a right-of-way occupancy, do they have to do anything in the township right-of-ways to at least give the townships a heads up, or it seems like that's just kind of a free-for-all? Do you know?
I would say everything you said is true. They should be communicating that with the townships. I mean, technically, from my understanding is, and maybe Ross has something to throw in on that. He's like, don't bring, but, okay, so the thing with the townships, it gets a little weird, because the homeowner, or the landowner owns where the road is. The county owns where the county roads are. So we don't really have to involve the landowners from a legal standpoint. You want to communicate with them and make sure their yards aren't trashed and stuff like that. The township, they should. The minute they, actually, the stuff you approved here, there's 2 miles that I got to call Bob and tell him that that's whatever township's west of, maybe it's still Westport. Yeah, it is Westport Township. One of those goes over to that bridge that's by, on Road 9, Gravel 9, north of Westport. 9 goes, 9 ends at 281, and then the gravel road going that way. There was a bridge over there that had a little problem, and so that was on those. You didn't approve it. You guys did not approve it. I took it off of there, but that's an example. There's 2 miles there that I'm assuming they should call Westport Township and say, hey, we're going to be in the ditch. Now, the part that gets snaky is, and I ran into this at the beef plant, because we were running that force main down to the lagoons. And the township folks are like, yep, that's no problem. You can put that in the road ditch. But the township doesn't own the road ditch. There's an easement there for the road. And that's, so you get into some things with that. Do you understand why I'm not just like, so, sort of to answer your question, a good faith person should be contacting the township and going, hey, at least calling them and telling them, and then the township can decide. If you're in a township down by Sioux Falls, they have a whole mechanism, I'm sure, for that. You know what I mean? Does Allison Township have a mechanism for that? Probably not. So, but at a minimum, they should be contacted. That's good faith by the installer.
The other side of it is when the township people see NBC out there and they're thinking, oh boy, I'm going to get TV and I'm going to get my internet upgraded and stuff. They're so tickled pink that
You don't hear about it, right? So, but that's, Rachel, I think that it's somewhere in between there. The township should have some authority, but it does get a little strange because of the ownership of the section lines.
Gotcha.
Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I would say. I'm gonna go with that. All right, are we good?
Yeah, you need to just sign a couple plaques.
I'm doing it.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't realize, I seen the signature on this one, I didn't know if these were the ones. There was 2 of them,
Hi, Grab.
okay.
Kathy takes pretty good care of me, so.
Well, I want to make sure you're being taken care of, so that's why I put it on my little note here too.
All right, call if you need something.
Thank
Doug.
you.
See ya.
Thanks.
See you, Dirk. Next item, we have Eric Coughlin, HR Director, June 10th, June 19th,
June.
holiday, Juneteenth. What the hell next for a holiday?
Well, our lovely president gave us another federal holiday. Since it was given at the 11th hour, and it was really tough to make a decision within an hour of the county closing, everybody worked on Friday. I did hear from the union. They asked what we would be doing, or if we would be doing something to make up for that day being worked by those union employees. So I'm coming to the commission and with a couple of recommendations. And I'm just going to leave it in your guys' hands going forward from here. We did have roughly 4 to 6 counties that were closed within South Dakota. The state was closed in some areas, but they were giving their employees an option to have the day off. And it all depended on what department they were in, to have the day off, to have a floating holiday and use it by a specific date, or to be paid for that holiday but still working. So those are a couple options that I have in here for recommendations, is we pay everyone as if it were a holiday, or we give an additional day off on either July 6th, which would be the day after. So the 4th is on a Sunday, the 5th is a Monday, so it would be the 6th because we have the 5th off. November 12th, which is the day after Veterans Day, or December 23rd, which is the day after Christmas Eve. Or excuse me, the day before Christmas Eve. So, what was the last one? December 23rd.
Before Christmas Eve.
Because we get Christmas is on a Friday this year, so we get December 24th off. The December 12th one, Veterans Day is on a Thursday this year, so that would just give the employees a Friday off.
Which one is that?
November 12th.
November.
Or you could just extend that 4th of July, the Independence Day, through the 6th, and then everybody comes back to work on the 7th. City was open, too. I went to a couple, Friday we had senior board, and Jean was there, and are most of them giving an additional day off? Other counties, municipalities? And a lot of them were deciding in their commission meetings. The group that I'm part of, which is Commission Assistants and Human Resource Directors for some of the larger counties, they were waiting until they got through their commission meeting, which was hopefully this week sometime. I haven't heard anything back from either of them, no.
Is there one of them that worked better as far as the payroll schedule?
Please do not do that we pay everybody for the holiday, because that really throws a kink into it. That you do what? Don't pay everybody as it were a holiday, because then it just makes a mess. If you just add on an extra day and give an extra day as a holiday, that would probably be the best, because then we could plug in 16 hours of holiday versus 8 hours of holiday.
Is there any day in particular that affects the auditor's office anywhere?
No, we just work around the holidays. Is that 4th of July, with that Monday and Tuesday off, is that a payroll week?
No, none of these are payroll weeks. I made sure of that
Yeah, so
before I
so
even gave
we're
these
good
dates.
then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know the December 23rd one gets touchy because it's the end of the year.
Yeah,
We
that's,
should check to make sure we don't have any public hearings scheduled for that Tuesday in June.
that's
So
the
we
only one
might have
that-
already noticed.
So the July 6th
July.
one.
July 6th. Did we, the ones that were setting
Here.
today? For the newest zoning ones? But
Is
first
there-
reading will be July 13th, so we're good to go.
Is there some of these that states are neglecting to recognize it as a holiday? And I'd heard there's some scuttlebutt about that. Even though the feds have declared it as a national holiday, some states are saying they're not gonna recognize it. Is there anything to that?
I haven't heard anything. I know Christy Nome did put in, I believe it was this year during legislative session, that she does recognize Juneteenth, but she didn't declare it as a holiday until Biden put it in as a holiday.
July 6th, we do have a public hearing that's been noticed and scheduled for a liquor
Okay.
license transfer. So that date, we could still close county, we would still have to convene county commission. they could, the auditor's office could open, but beyond that,
Why couldn't you flip it to the second?
we already put it in the newspaper.
No, flip it,
the
do
holiday.
Friday.
The
holiday.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Payroll will be done by that Friday. So it would just be, if your office was okay with that, Kathy.
Yeah,
And everything
don't
was
let our
done
office
there.
stop a holiday by any means. I don't know why we're, we are for the holiday.
I try to make it fair to everybody though. I
We work
want
a
it-
little extra holiday weeks to get everything done,
Yeah.
but it's okay, we like the holidays.
So they'd have off then the second, third, fourth, and fifth.
Correct.
Can I say something? Being a short timer, and already having to work that day, I would like to have it on the second as well, because then at least I'll get paid for it, even though I won't, that's technically my last day. So that's my suggestion.
The other option, we get it to the kid teacher in Brown County Fair, encourage everybody to go to the fair. That would be week of 16th, right?
Right.
Let me look at the payroll calendar there. That's one of the ones, you don't have a day off yet.
Give them a 16th off.
Employee picnic.
Yeah.
Not a picnic week.
Isn't that a payroll week?
Or the
Yeah, it's not a
20th.
bad idea.
One
Is that
thing I
Friday of
would
the fair?
mention,
The
just
20th,
having
the
it
Friday
coincide with
of the fair.
the state holidays,
What's that?
just because I know we work with state software when they're shut down, there's stuff that we can't do. I don't know, other offices,
Ours works when the state shut down, it's on the cloud, so
so
we're okay.
just having it run with a state holiday makes a lot of sense from a coordination standpoint.
But they already took their day off, so we don't have a holiday
They
to
get
coincide.
I'm
The
sure we
reason
can
I'm thinking
find.
Brown County is our businesses, we close down Fair Week. I know a lot of people are just, but maybe that's just that they're big into the fair.
So if we go past the date of it, somebody that's worked, such as Becky, even though that it's a holiday that everybody's gonna take advantage of, can she take advantage of it if we move it to August or November?
Well, it would be no different than anybody else who would terminate, then we'd have to pay all those employees. Should be paid out for that day. That would be up to you guys. Because I have a few other people who have submitted retirements or resignations, so it's up to you if you want to pay them also. We start one, it's just going to trickle downhill from there. So everybody who terminates between now and that date, we're going to have to pay them. So if we're going to do that, then it would be just better giving them a floating holiday or an extra day of vacation. What do you think, guys? These are the easy ones,
I like
right?
the idea of either the second, or I like the idea of August 20th, the fair. And I guess, and I don't know if would be a fair question to bring up at maybe just confuse things, to bring it up at the department head meeting. Whether
And
they-
make a decision next Tuesday.
Yeah, whether
That's
they have
fine
any
with me.
input into it. I mean, ultimately, we're gonna make the decision, but do we let them the department heads have some input into it? I don't know. Being as their folks are the ones that are gonna be affected, they're the ones that are, you know,
So if you just offer them as a floating holiday, they can take it tomorrow whenever they want.
We would just add that much time on Tuesday as a vacation. Yeah.
Why don't we
Or
just do that
PTO.
and not worry about it?
well, that's not a bad idea.
Seems like the easiest way to fix it is, for down the road, I just think you just let them as a floating holiday, and if they want to take it tomorrow, or they want to take it for 2 weeks from now, or if they want to quit, they still get paid for their holiday and it's done.
Yep.
They can use it when it's most advantageous to them.
Is
That's
that
fine
gonna,
with me.
is that gonna mess up as far as, the time?
Nope, we can go in and manually input that stuff.
It seems to be the easiest to me, just by what I'm hearing.
Yeah, that would
Any
be-
downside to that? Okay.
I make a motion we do that.
Second.
Because of the floating holiday.
We got a motion by Sutton, a second by Kipley, to use the additional federal holiday as a floating holiday for this year
For
only.
this year only, I was gonna add that here.
Which will be added to vacation or PTO,
Okay,
depending on union, non-union.
right, okay.
Okay.
We have the motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
I just want to add a comment, and I don't know that there's anything that the commission can do for us, but this is the second time that it's happened since I've been here. Once was because of a snowstorm, and then now they give this last minute holiday. The clerk of court doesn't see fit to contact the people that they have scheduled for weddings. And so these people show up at my counter at 10 o'clock on Friday morning. Was it Friday? Yeah. To get their marriage license because they had a 10:30 appointment with the clerk of courts, who now is magically closed, and his parents had driven from Michigan to come to this. So, I mean, we did get it resolved. I got a hold of Jesse Milbrandt, who is an ordained minister, but it was his day off. He showed up in shorts and a t-shirt, and he took care of them. But I just think that it is so unprofessional that somebody can't make a phone call and say, hey, we're going to be closed, make other arrangements, or... Do you see what I'm saying? It happened once with a snowstorm. We all were here, but the state offices were closed because the weather was so bad in Pierre. And same deal. Those folks showed up with pretty much a lobby full of people ready to get married, and the clerk of courts is closed. So, I mean, I know we can't force them to make that phone call, but guess what? If they would provide me or my office with those, we would make those phone calls for them.
Is there some way that we, as with the state, have an ability to have an email that they can ship out to all the counties? Just to, the state should take, I would think, the ability to go to 66 different counties, because I'm sure we're not unique.
Well,
I'm sure
but
it's
not
happening.
all the counties do weddings anymore.
Well, but I mean, Pennington does, Minnehaha does, Lincoln
Right.
probably. There's probably, out of the 66, there's probably 40, 50 of them that do.
That you're right.
It would be nice if the courtesy that the state could just have something on all the counties' email and then hit that button and it would just come across as an email.
Typically, we do eventually get notification, but it's always just a little too late.
Right.
4:30 an email from our association saying, here's what the governor has proposed for the state. It's a little too
My
late.
office
That doesn't
didn't-
solve the problem.
Yeah.
The
didn't
problem
get
isn't us
notified
knowing
until
the
Friday
state's closed.
morning.
The problem is the state figuring out they have clients that are coming to get married, and they take care of that, not us.
And there could-
Well,
this
and
is
the
just one
problem
example.
is, they show up at my office to get the marriage license, and I'm the one who has to deliver this message to them that, hey, I'm sorry, but the state's closed today.
So I guess for a resolution, this is kind of where I was talking about, like, the leadership of the commission assistant position being gone. It creates like gaps in finding solutions to problems. Is Roberta okay just to go and talk to a clerk of court and be like, here's what I would like to see happening, we can assist you with it, we can make the calls, but we need notification, or would one of the commissioners like to take this on and facilitate these conversations? That's how I kind of read the situation here, read the question.
I'll
What
let
is
everybody
I was
know.
just gonna say, what does your office do?
We found out at 6:30 on Thursday. So, I'm not sure how much more warning there was than that. I got an email from the court administrator, I'm looking at it right now, on June 17th at 6:30 p.m. The courts were shut down anyway, so it wasn't a big deal in that regard. But I don't know, this was just a freak thing, I think, where they were all scrambling to make a decision, and here we are.
When was the last time the federal government declared a noon federal holiday at 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, giving you 1 hour to react? I mean, it's never happened in my
Right,
lifetime.
but it's less than a year since we had the little snow incident.
Well,
Same thing
snowstorm is a
happened.
whole different situation than, I mean,
It is and it isn't. I mean, in Brown County,
same
we all
result,
came,
the same
right, we
result.
all came to work. The weather wasn't so bad here that we closed, but the weather was bad enough in Pierre that they closed state offices across the state. And maybe there isn't a resolution, and the people can holler at me, that's fine, and I'll call Jesse and, make the arrangements. It's just, I feel like it's very unprofessional, and guess what? it reflects badly on Brown County. It does not reflect badly on the state, because they come to the Brown County Courthouse to get married. They don't know that it's a state office.
Perhaps the best thing is to, if you could email us what happened, we can go to Greg Satizon at the state and
Sure.
just say, hey, this is what's going on, can you talk to your locations, and he can address it from a central.
Right.
Would you mind doing that? Just send,
No,
I'll call
no.
Greg, I'm on a couple boards with him.
The problem you have those, when those people show up to get their marriage license through you, who's gonna notify them? The state's gonna notify them and say, hey, don't show up, we're closed? I mean, that's where I'm seeing the problem is, yeah, we'll notify that the state's closed, but who's gonna notify that person not to go to the Brown County?
Courthouse.
That's gotta be
See what I'm
them.
saying?
Because the appointment's with the state.
Yeah,
not
right,
the
it's
county.
not
Right.
They make an appointment with us to get the marriage license, and very often
Right.
it's 30 to 60 minutes ahead of the appointment upstairs. But, you know, and that's the problem. They show up and they're like all dressed and they got their flowers and they're ready to rock, and we say, well, we can give you the marriage license, but the
Well,
clerk of courts is closed.
And that's the thing, if they notify us that they're closed, and the people don't know, they're still gonna show up in your office.
Right. Somebody's got to make a phone call.
And I don't know, I guess that's probably something that we probably need to work with the state or somebody, and just see if there's some kind of way we can clear up the communication there a little bit.
Right.
Have you communicated with the state on this thing at all?
I talked to a couple people up in the clerk of court's office when it happened the previous time, and they pretty much went, that's the way it goes.
I'm kind of afraid that's where we're at.
Yeah, can't control the weather.
No.
I just, you know, I hear you, and I can understand the frustration that the office goes through, but I just can't see how you can.
I mean,
They've
an example is
got a calendar of events as well as what we have. It wouldn't be that tough in this day and age of virtual meetings to get on from home and make a 2-minute call telling somebody that.
well, and
There's
that's,
no way they don't have access.
you know, that's what I was gonna say. If I woke up in the morning and I was sick, the first thing I would do would be boot up my computer and see who's on my calendar for today, so that I could give them an email or a phone call and say, hey, I'm not gonna make it.
It almost seem in a way that it'd be a little bit of the responsibility of the individuals that are getting married too, to know whether everything is coordinating, whether everything is coming together. You know, and I mean, I realize that there's a level of emotion and everything when you're gonna get married and everything's in line and everything, but still at the same time, you know, it almost seemed like there'd be a little bit of responsibility of knowing if all the lines are coming together,
Right.
you know.
But
on the
once
flip, but on the
again-
flip side of that, I mean, Ross didn't find out until 6:30 that evening.
Well,
So if the state was in the same situation where they got the message out to the state's attorney's offices, they might have just as easily got the message out to all the registers of deeds.
right.
Well, would you have seen it until the next morning?
Probably
Chances are
not. No.
So I mean, there's no easy answer. It was a
No.
unique situation.
And the mother actually said, I heard on the news that state offices were closed, but I thought the clerk of courts was a county office.
Yeah,
So,
plenty of confusion.
you know, there's a lot of confusion. So,
And
I
we-
don't know if anything can be done. I will send that email and,
Okay, I'll
you
make
know,
a call. I might not fix it, but at least we tried.
Right.
Need to
Exactly.
communicate the problem and see if there's a solution.
Right,
You,
right.
Is there a way for you to, when people come to your window, to put some kind of thing up to the clerk of courts of the state, not county?
FYI.
I mean, you know, I
Well,
think-
anybody that calls us about getting married, we tell them that it's a state office, and here's their phone number.
Well, and I think
But-
the confusion is, a lot of times people think the clerk of courts in the Brown County building. And
Yeah,
they assume it's a Brown County office, and it is not.
Exactly.
But I just wonder if a guy could clarify that somehow with people, educate the people is what I'm trying to say.
right, right. Well, and I think when you go to the bigger, or the littler counties, like Day County, for example, they follow the state schedule. So when the state says we're closed, then the whole courthouse closes down, where we don't do that. So,
Well, let's see if we can find some angles to make it a better situation for
Sure.
I guess, the general public and for your office both.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Okay, good
Thank
luck.
you.
Thank you for
Thank
that.
you.
Have a good day.
You too.
On another note, I mean, if you guys, there are a couple counties out there who have rewritten their policy to take the days off that the governor has also declared holidays for the state or snow days. So instead of following like the federal holiday schedule, they follow the state schedule in doing those days closed. So they know that if their state is closed, the county is closed also. So just an FYI.
That works probably pretty well for holidays, but I see that as a real problem for snow, because you could have a blizzard in Pier, and it could be as clear as a bell up here while the state closes everybody. I mean, it makes no sense for us to close if, that's where I'd have to see that as a problem.
Got a question real quick. I just was hearing about adding a 8-hour PTO for a holiday. Is that an issue for anybody that's already at or real close to their max PTO hours?
They have the option, PTO or holiday, whatever they want to do. I mean, wasn't there 2 options?
No, it would just go directly
Oh.
towards their vacation or their PTO.
So it would be take your holiday right away.
So you'd have to take your holiday right away.
Yep.
It was very nice.
Depending on whether it's union, non-union, right?
Right. Which would make sense because the holiday's already occurred, so just take it. Take it as soon as you can.
There.
Fixed.
Okay. Stacy, did you have something coming before the
Oh, I
commission?
just wanted to make sure, was just coming in to see if the platinum were approved.
Yep, everything was approved.
All right, awesome, thank you very much. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
One thing on that marriage deal, what you could do is send them out to big fellas, and I could give them all a drink and just talk them out of getting married.
We like options.
Anything else coming before the commission before we go into Jeanette's?
At the end of the day, that would probably save a lot of money for a lot of people.
Okay, Jeanette, do you want to take care of yours?
Okay. Approve general and joint meeting minutes of June 15, 2021.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Sutton, approve the general and joint meeting minutes for June 15, 2021. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claims and payroll.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Fikert, second by Sutton, to approve claims and payroll. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
HR report.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kipley, to approve the HR report. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
We don't have any fair contracts. Next one is leave.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Fikert, to approve the lease. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Fireworks permit.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kipley, to approve the fireworks permit. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Claim assignment.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Fikert, second by Sutton, to approve the claim assignment. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Set hearing date and authorize advertising for the rezone ordinances.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Fikert, to set a hearing date and authorize advertising for rezone ordinances. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Abatement.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Kipley, second by Sutton, to approve the abatement. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Plat.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Fikert, second by Sutton, to approve the plats. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all.
Anything else come before the commission?
How are we gonna handle the, south dumpster site situation?
I believe there's been some, I think it's ready to go, but has there been some terminology change though, Ross?
There was, and Bob was gonna pick it up last week, but I see it was still sitting in my office.
I'll call him and tell him to get it.
So I don't know if we wanna sign it today and then get the earnest money ready.
I think
It
it's
sounded
better.
like he was good with it, I just never got that confirmed.
I
But isn't
think
it
it's
easier
where
for-
he signs it and then we bring it to the
Okay.
commission.
Right.
So then we just know it's done.
Okay,
So
well, I
we-
would just send it over, yeah, if Dennis wants to call him, I'll just keep it in my office, drop in.
So
And
if
then
we
if
get
he's
a
got
signed
any
copy.
issues.
We won't put it on the agenda until we have a signed copy from Bob.
Well, I don't even think, we've already approved it, we're just doing.
Yeah, we didn't approve of the changes though. Isn't that different than what it was originally approved at? We had some,
I think the wording of the motion.
The
was just-
motion doesn't have the entire contract in it, it just says approve to sign the
Okay.
contract. So that's up to you guys, how you want to proceed with the handling.
So.
As long as it's trees are out, chain link fence is in. Is that right?
There's 2 rows of trees, and then,
So he still wants trees and fence.
yes, 2 on our side, 2 on his side, fence, and then a gate crossing the easement.
And the
on
gate,
west
two
end.
15-foot gates that would cover the opening of the easement.
Okay.
And the chain link fence should only be on the west and the north side, according to the agreement. I believe.
No, it's surrounding.
Oh, that's right, that's
Yeah,
right, we changed
so
it.
it goes
to
all the way
surround.
around.
Yep, because it was
It's not
important that we have it on the
I've got it here,
southwest side,
if
yeah.
you guys want to review it.
So
Yeah.
that's all been approved, everybody's good with that?
Yep,
Commission's
that's
approved,
what-
he's approved with it,
That's
just a
what
matter of
Dennis and
signature.
Dwayne and Bob had all sat down and figured out.
The last conversation I had with Bob, he is not gonna have, I don't think he's gonna have a problem signing a purchase agreement. I think he's to the point, but I guess my question is, how soon after he signs the purchase agreement does he get the $1,000 earnest money?
We can cut that check same day, we just need to be noticed.
Okay, and I will tell him that then too. To get over and get the purchase agreement signed, and then you'll get it back over here, and then he'll get the check for the earnest money.
Then we can put it on next week's agenda to approve that final language.
That's fine.
Yeah, we sure can,
I've
but I'm
got
not gonna
3
put out
copies
a
here,
no
if
contract.
anybody who hasn't seen it wants to look at it.
I've kinda looked through it on the,
I don't know if I emailed the final one to everybody though. I've been through it 10,000 times.
no, I'm fine with it, I just think it's better for him to sign it first.
Yeah, I thought that too, and I just never heard anything back.
So it's the same version that you last sent to us.
He doesn't.
I don't know which one you have. There's
And
a
he
lot
is
floating around.
actively working, cleaning it out right now. He's been at it. And he also told me, and I hate to even bring it up, but he also told me that he checked with, Marty, and as far as coming over and chopping up the railroad car and getting it out of there, so. And I think the agreement is that that if it's out of there,
Then we don't worry about it.
we don't worry about it. Otherwise, we'll get rid of it. And I know Myers said that they'd come down too and chop it up and get it out of there, so
Yeah,
that isn't gonna be an issue.
So let's say for him to sign it, the minute he signs it, notify Kathy, put it on the agenda for next Tuesday, and let's be done with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Amen. When's the,
before July 1st.
It'll be just before July 1st.
That's like taking it right down to the wire.
Carl, you had something for the commission?
Yeah, just a real quick thing, if it's all right. Just once in a while, it's good to share information. This afternoon at 3:30, the new president for Northern will be announced, and it'll be at Northern in the Student Union in the Centennial Rooms. So if any of you are interested in going to that, and that has nothing to do with the state, other than it's one of the presidents with the regions. But the website for the cannabis from the governor is medcannabis, medcannabis.sd.gov, and on there they have meetings that are scheduled for the public, to listen in and to learn more about what's going on. And I just went to a meeting yesterday in Pierre, and I'll be going to Des Moines the 28th, and we'll look at a dispensary, and we'll also look at a cultivation center. And so we're doing lots of different things, trying to get more prepared. And every now and then I see the thing that July 1st is the date. There's nothing going to happen on July 1st because there's no cards issued, for medical cannabis. And we did have a presentation this week from one of the ones that have been around a while, which would be Colorado, and then we also had a presentation from North Dakota. North Dakota dispensaries, they limit to 6, and the growing centers, they have 2, and in South Dakota, what's currently proposed is an unlimited number of dispensaries, and growing centers would be homegrown. And the general consensus from the people that we heard from is that homegrown has a lot of issues. And the issues are health and safety and things like that, because they'll come into a house and they'll really put in all kinds of wiring and things like this that are unsafe. And if if the fire departments came to take care of something, they might get hurt. So anyway, lots of stuff going on.
You know, the other thing about homegrown is, who in the world can ever monitor it? I mean, if they're supposed to have 20 plants, who's to say they got 60? And I mean, I can see the problem with that. They had a very similar problem in Colorado,
Yeah.
when they allowed 2 or 3 plants per person. Well, then the kids move over to college, now they got 3 more, and now the wife decides, now they got 3 more. Next thing you know, they got 30 plants because the family's moving home, and they're all got their share of plants.
Yeah.
Makes no sense to have it homegrown. I think you need a dispensary where it's got a little more control.
Well, how many plants does it take to get high?
Well, the idea of medical marijuana is to take care of medicinal issues. So, I don't want to get into the high part because that would be the adult marijuana. And there is a separate committee that meets on adult marijuana. I'm on the medicinal because 70% of the constituents in our state said this is what we want. And so we have a responsibility to the taxpayers and to the constituents to take what they want and do the best job we can for them with what they're asking for. So doesn't mean that they're going to have all 95 provisions that are in that bill just 100% approved. Some of those things with the law practices and attorney practices and other things are going to be real big issues. So yeah, I just thought I'd stop by and let you know that we're working on some stuff. So
I appreciate that.
Just kind of apologize to you too. We should have had the legislators invited to Richmond, our meeting out at Richmond last Tuesday, so you folks that go to Pier could hear the concerns of the funding for the counties as far as the roads and that are concerned. And I suggested that they call you folks because that's part of the problem, is that we haven't really gotten, we're limited, which you know, and the schools are pretty much tied to property tax, as you know.
Yeah.
And unless at some point something isn't done to help the counties, we're on a downhill slide.
No.
The COVID money is wonderful, but it's not sustainable. It's not going to be there forever. And so 3, 4, 5 years down the road, we're going to be worse off than we are today as far as funding the highways and that. So just kind of hope that you'll continue down in the legislature to do things to help the counties keep their funding up.
You know, the example that one lady had when she was in, that the clerk of courts gets their information from the state, and we're working in the county and they're working with this. That's why I'm here today, is because I think if we're going to be a good state legislator, and you've been a state legislator, and so have you, we need to know what's going on in the county, we need to know what's going on in the city. It doesn't mean that we're going to be able to wave a magic wand and make everything better, but if we don't know what's going on, we can't even have a chance of fixing it. It's like the meeting that you just mentioned. If you don't tell us about it, but you know, I show up for a lot of stuff that people don't tell me about, but I didn't know about that one. So
Yeah. Well, there'll probably be some other outlying ones, and you're always welcome.
It was the biggest meeting we've had since I've been on the commission. We probably have 50 plus people there.
well,
And we'll probably be doing one, and we're looking at maybe Croton here in the next couple months, so we'll keep you posted.
I know there's one that Kathy McNichol sent us a notice for,
Oh, for the Lake region, that's good too, yeah.
Lake Region. So
July 26th.
yeah, if we're notified about things, we'll try to attend. But so
Well, thank you.
that's all I have.
Thank you,
Just
Carl.
wanna touch base.
Anything else, Sir? Did you have something for the commission?
That, just
Okay.
introduce my cousin Ron Piker. He
Oh, okay.
back from the snowbird country and back to his home of Aberdeen, formerly Bowdle, and thanks for coming, Ron.
Well, thank you for the welcoming back. We got back from, it was 100 in Arizona, when it got down to 38 that night here when we got back.
Welcome home.
3 days later, 100.
Ron worked a career at the Aberdeen Fire Department, and then he was a maintenance man up at Presentation for a lot of years. So,
Thank you for the introduction.
Welcome back.
yeah.
Anything else come for the commission? We got the department head meeting at 11 today.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved by Sutton, second by Kipling, adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?